Good morning, friends. Summertime around my home is busy with a lot of warm weather activities, trips to the park, and evening garden walks. My children are very small, and therefore even simple tasks only feel like they get half of my attention, as my youngest is learning to walk, and my oldest fills my days with chatter. They are into everything. Therefore, when I have a rare morning free and I'm home alone to complete a few chores, it does feel like a moment of peace simply because I can give it my full attention. So come along with me to complete some garden chores on this windy morning. The wind has a funny way of making everything feel a little bit more alive, and it's almost like I have company while I venture out to get things done in the garden. As I've become used to being cooked in the hot June heat here in Virginia, an overcast day with a constant breeze blowing is a welcome reprieve. There are two kinds of jobs in the garden. The exciting ones, these are the projects that completely transform a space. I remember putting the fencing up for the first time, and then when we added the original in-garden beds in this space, it was so satisfying. Watching the pea gravel curve around the garden paths for the first time, it just was beautiful seeing the vision come to life. Much like the satisfaction of getting all my seedlings planted out for the first time because the garden was so clean and ready. This year, we had the satisfaction of finishing 2 new raised beds. All of these things are honestly a dopamine hit that ignites my excitement for the season. But then, as all things do, the excitement calms from the big hitting moments, and we are left with a different kind of excitement and different kinds of projects. These are the projects that we don't really highlight as much. We don't talk about the day-to-day tasks that add up over time. The weeds, the watering, the pruning, the endless tidying, the things that you'll have to do again next week. I've realized lately that gardening has a lot in common with keeping a house, and I've had to shift my mindset from thinking of it as I completed weeding to thinking about it more like we would dishes or laundry. It's I've completed weeding for today, or I've done this job for this week. And that is quite an adjustment for me. I love thinking of a certain project as being done and completely off my plate. And so I'm really having to shift my mentality of these certain tasks that will just not be done. Because, well, first and foremost, my garden is alive. And much like anything that I care for that is alive, it needs my constant attention. Now, okay, thankfully it doesn't actually cry for me, because Lord knows I have enough of that kind of reminder when someone needs something from me, but I am so likely to see the effects of when my garden has been neglected, and I'm likely to see them pretty quickly. The weeds that come in faster than I can pull them, or the wilted blooms and sagging leaves of plants that need a drink. Sometimes I wonder why in this season of life I've chosen to continue gardening with the fervor that I do, but ultimately it's because I know that there are so many benefits. And of course, there are those practical sides of that. It feeds our family, it brings me joy. But more importantly to me, it gives us a reason to be outside. In a world full of screens that tends to idolize comfort, I love that we have this thing we're committed to that both brings us outside and makes us work. So yes, our garden is alive, and it's full of weeds that will always need tending and weeding, and honestly, so does everything else meaningful. Maybe that's the nature of anything worth taking care of. I think somewhere along the way, I started believing that a successful garden would eventually become effortless. But I don't think that's actually the goal. I think the goal isn't to eliminate the work, it's to learn to enjoy the rhythm of the work. Because somewhere between pulling weeds and maintaining pest control and tying up tomatoes or setting up irrigation, you start noticing the things you would have missed if you'd only come out to harvest. A cucumber that wasn't there yesterday, tomatoes finally starting to get that little bit of blush to them, flowers opening, or the bees that weren't there 2 weeks ago. Even the breeze moving through everything like I experienced today. None of those moments ask you to hurry up, they tell you to slow down. The funny thing is I'll probably come back out tomorrow and find more weeds. Something else will need trimming, a hose will somehow end up tangled again, but I don't really mind anymore. I have stopped thinking about finishing the garden and started thinking about tending it. Maybe that's true of home too. The laundry will always come back and the dishes will always fill the sink. But it's because we have a home full of people living in it. And those are part of the rhythms. They're the beautiful part of the rhythms. I recently heard someone refer to this as signs of life, and I could not love that more. When it comes to the garden, the weeds will always grow, but that's not getting in the way of life. That is life, signs of life. And they are life. It's a small reminder that we've been given something worth caring for. and also that we have really good dirt if we're having weeds constantly grow. And so sure, there are going to be these tasks that bother me that I will outsource when the budget allows us to outsource. But I also think that there's something really beautiful about taking the time to appreciate working in this world and working for the things that we have, even if it's just for a hobby, and working in the homes that we've created and the lives that we've created. So if you're still with me, thanks so much for spending the morning here. If you'd like to come along for more garden days, home projects, and seasonal adventures, don't forget to subscribe before you go. And YouTube is so new to me. This is quite a step outside my comfort zone, but I'm having so much fun, and I'm so grateful for any of you that are taking the time to watch this.